In this video, we'll delve into the extraordinary legacy of Washington's presidency, exploring his unparalleled contributions, the formation of the presidency, his precedents, and the challenges he faced. Selected as a unanimous choice for presidency, Washington faced the daunting task of defining the role. With no precedent, he laid the groundwork for the future, establishing expectations and examples that subsequent presidents would follow. During his first term, Washington approved the Judiciary Act of 1789, a pivotal piece of legislation establishing the federal court system. But notably, one of his most significant contributions was the establishment of the first cabinet. Recognizing the need for specialized expertise, he appointed Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State, Alexander Hamilton as Secretary of the Treasury, Henry Knox as Secretary of War, later Defense, and Edmund Randolph as Attorney General. Each department was entrusted with specific duties. State handled foreign affairs, Treasury managed financial matters, War looked after military concerns, and the Attorney General focused on legal issues. Within the cabinet, figures like Hamilton and Jefferson held differing political ideologies, setting the stage for the formation of the first political parties. The contrasting beliefs led to a significant debate. Hamilton's financial plan aimed at stabilizing the nation's economy by assuming state debts and establishing a national bank. Although parts of Hamilton's plan were approved, Jefferson, a strict constructionist, opposed the bank, arguing that it exceeded the powers granted by the Constitution. Washington not only approved the Judiciary Act of 1789, which established the federal court system, but approved a transformative financial plan. Spearheaded by Alexander Hamilton, the Secretary of the Treasury, the plan consisted of several critical components. First, the plan aimed at assuming state debts incurred during the Revolutionary War. By consolidating these debts, the goal was to create a unified national debt, binding the states more closely to the federal government. The second significant aspect was the establishment of the Bank of the United States. This financial institution was meant to regulate American currency, issue banknotes, and provide a stable financial system. Jefferson, a strict constructionist, opposed the bank, arguing that it exceeded the powers granted by the Constitution. But Hamilton used the proper and elastic clause to get it approved and stated that the creation of the Bank of US was necessary for the young nation. Hamilton's financial vision also included imposing a protective tariff on British manufactured goods to encourage Americans to buy domestic products, but was the only part not to be passed. Washington's term faced challenges such as the Whiskey Rebellion, where 7,000 farmers marched on Pittsburgh to protest a whiskey tax. Viewing it as a threat to national safety, Washington personally led an army of 13,000 soldiers to quell the uprising. This incident showcased the strength of the Constitution in maintaining order. Washington's term faced a divided American public, torn between supporting Britain or France amidst the conflict between the two European powers. Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of the Treasury, supported Britain, advocating for maintaining economic ties and fostering a stable relationship, while Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of State, sympathized with the French people's struggle for liberty and sought to honor the debt owed to France for their aid during America's fight for independence. In response to this ideological divide within Washington's administration, Washington issued the Proclamation of Neutrality in 1793. This proclamation articulated the United States' stance on the European conflict, asserting that the best way to protect American interests was to abstain from involvement in the war between Britain and France. This set the precedent for the U.S. to safeguard its interests by abstaining from foreign conflicts. In 1796, Washington chose not to seek a third term, establishing the two-term precedent for future presidents. His farewell address echoed warnings about the dangers of political parties and involvement in foreign affairs, setting the precedent for non-intervention in global disputes. George Washington's presidency was not just a series of events, it was the shaping of a nation and the establishment of critical precedents. His leadership and foresight laid the foundation for the United States we know today. And that's a wrap. To learn about other topics in US history, head over to my other videos. Thank you for watching Studimation, animated educational videos.